And we are continuing reading the Constitution of the United States of America. Section 7, Revenue Bills, Legislative Processes, Presidential Veto. All bills for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives, but the Senate may propose or concur with the amendments as on other bills. These pages aren't numbered. So that one's pretty obvious, right? House writes the bills, but Senate gets a say. To constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court. Oh. Wait, what? No. Oh no, that was fucking... I'm stupid. Okay. Pages aren't numbered. Fuck you want from me? Okay. Every bill shall have passed the law... Every bill which shall have passed the House of Representatives and the Senate shall, before it becomes law, be presented to the President of the United States. If he approves, he shall sign it, but if he not, he shall return it. And I totally butchered that part of the sentence, but who cares? With his objections to that House in which it shall have originated, who shall enter the objections at large on their journal and proceed to reconsider it. So that's the presidential veto thing. If Congress passes a bill, President doesn't like it, I say, fuck you, fix it. If after such reconsideration 2/3 of that House shall agree to pass the bill, it shall be sent together with the objections to the other House, by which it shall likewise be reconsidered, and if approved by 2/3 of that House, it shall become a law. But in such cases the votes of both Houses shall be determined by yeas and nays, and the names of the persons voting for and against the bill shall be entered on the journal of each House respectively. Any bill shall not be returned by the President within 10 days, Sundays excepted, after it shall have been presented to him, the same shall be a law, and in like manner as if he had signed it, unless Congress by their adjournment prevent his return, in which case it shall not be a law. So, Congress makes a law, President's got 10 days to give it the thumbs down, otherwise it becomes a law. And the Congress can't pull any shenanigans saying, oh, hey, we gotta make sure the President can't do anything for the next 10 days, or can't veto this law for the next 10 days. But if the President says, fuck this law, I ain't signing it, sends it back to Congress, they can say, well, fuck you harder, President. 2/3 of us say it's a law. That's how that works. Every order, resolution, or vote to which the concurrence of the Senate the Senate and House of Representatives may be necessary, except on a question of adjournment, shall be presented to the President of the United States, and before the same shall take effect, shall be approved by him, or being disapproved by him, shall be repassed by 2/3 of the Senate and House of Representatives, according to the rules and limitations prescribed in the case of a bill. So it's basically the same thing for congressional orders, resolutions, and so forth. Section 8, Powers of Congress. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises, to pay the debts and provide for the common defense and the general welfare of the United States. But all duties, imposts, excises shall be uniform throughout the United States. Yeah. When the fuck was the last time that happened? To borrow money on the credit of the United States. To regulate commerce. Yeah, that's a lot of that fucking happening. To regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states and with the Indian tribes. To establish a uniform rule of naturalization and uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcies throughout the United States. Definitely not happening. To coin money, regulate the value thereof, and of foreign coin, and fix the standard of weights and measures. So I forget, is the Federal Reserve a government entity or an independent entity? Oh well, it's probably not worth looking into. To provide for the punishment of counterfeiting the securities and current coin of the United States. Now I forget, is the Federal Reserve a government entity or an independent? Oh well, it doesn't matter. To establish post offices and post roads. To promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive right to their respective writings and discoveries. limited time, huh? Yeah. Fucking mouse. To constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court. Okay? Inferior to the Supreme Court, that's important to know. To define and punish piracies and felonies committed on the high seas and offenses against the law of nations. To declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal. To make rules concerning captures on land and water. You know, maybe as a hobby I'll look into that some more. I'm not really sure what rules the United States itself has according to war. I mean, I know we have like the Geneva Convention and that kind of stuff, but that's international law. To raise and support armies, but no appropriation of money to that use shall be for a longer term than 2 years. I never really paid attention to that line before. To provide and maintain a navy. To make rules for the government and regulations of the land and naval forces. To provide for calling forth militia to execute laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repel invasions. To provide for organizing, arming, and disciplining the militia, and for governing such part of them as may be employed in the service of the United States, reserving to the states respectively the appointment of the officers and the authority of training in the militia according to the discipline prescribed by Congress. We don't really have state militias, do we? We have the Army and Marines. They're really state. To exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over such district not exceeding 10 miles square as may be, by cession of particular states, and the acceptance of Congress become the seat of government of the United States, and to exercise like authority over all places purchased by the consent of the legislature of the state in which the same shall be, for the erection of forts, magazines, arsenal, dockyards, and other needful buildings. So, yeah, 10 miles. Yeah. I'm just going to skip that one. No, I'm just kidding. No, so what this is saying is basically, let's read this again. To exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over such district not exceeding 10 miles square as made by session of particular states and the acceptance of Congress become the seat of government of the United States. Oh. This is fucking adding new states and building infrastructure and defense. Well, more defense, not really infrastructure. I mentioned infrastructure here. To make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers, and all other powers vested by this Constitution, the government of the United States, or in any department or officer thereof. So this is like the other, like basically saying the other miscellaneous shit we haven't explicitly said here. Okay, Section 9, limits on Congress. The migration or importation of such persons may be you know, you have those moments when your tongue just decides, you know what, fuck you, I'm going to take a nap for about 10 seconds. Okay, the migration or importation of such persons as any of the states now existing shall think proper to admit shall not be prohibited by Congress prior to the year 1808, but a tax or duty may be imposed on such importation not exceeding $10 for each person. So this is basically immigration. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless when in cases of rebellion or invasion to the public safety may require it. Might want to look up habeas corpus sometime. No bill of attainder or ex post facto law shall be passed. So this is like saying ex post facto is like, oh, hey, we did this thing and we don't want to get in trouble for it. So now we're going to write it as a law so that we can't get in trouble for it because it's legal now. Next video.